Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Business Expo Luncheon. As you know, we began the day with a healthcare breakfast. We had a tremendous breakfast on healthcare and the issues that face each and every business. The expo itself is doing well. I've spoken to literally every exhibitor. They've all told me that they're very pleased so far with the turnout and with the presentation. I want to remind you that we will have a program in April. The first Wednesday in April, we'll be back at Michael's Function Hall for the Spring Expo. Excuse me, it's a whole new audience. So please, if you're interested in exhibiting in the spring, there will be a discount for you because you are exhibitors today. So just make sure you tell Michael or Mary Beth, remind them that I said you get a discount, and if you can register for the spring, it would be great. There's some programs coming up. As you know, the Chamber does 100 programs plus a year. Coming up will be the public safety program with the district attorney and the sheriff and the area chiefs of police. That'll be coming up in September, I believe it's the 25th. The annual dinner is October 4th. That'll be held at Michael's, and the state auditor is our guest speaker, and we'll be giving several awards that night. Our Women in Business program is scheduled tentatively for the end of October. We don't have a firm date yet. We're anticipating the Congresswoman will be our guest speaker. And then there's a whole host of other programs that will be coming out. Michael has been sending them to you by email, but there's networking events for the morning. There are lunchtime programs. There's evening programs. And the Chamber will announce at its we're doing a program at the North Andover Historic Society. We will introduce our cultural historical resource program, something completely brand new to encourage you to visit the different cultural historic sites in and around the region, and we'll be announcing that, and we have some special guests coming that we'll tell you about later. Michael, am I missing any of the other programs we should announce?
Good to go.
We're good to go, and then the holiday party is coming up at the end of November, as you all know. Oh, Veterans Program. The Chamber has a very active Veterans Assistance Program, and that will be on November 3rd, I believe it is. And that's a free program for veterans. And the Chamber Directory is coming out. By the way, this year, Sean, new this year because you're here, the directory, I gotta get excited because he's got a big ring. You won't give it to me. We're actually good friends, by the way. He likes Michael better than me, though, I gotta tell you that. But the Chamber Directory this year is new. It's gonna be completely in color. And so if you're an exhibitor, if you have a directory ad, your directory ad will be in color. The directory is going to be much more, and it's going to have some great new features that are brand new to the directory. But let me tell you this. Sean has got a picture he wants to dedicate, and we're going to ask him to dedicate it to the Veterans Northeast Outreach Center because they do so much with injured and veterans in need of assistance and help. Michael and I spoke at their program. They're exhibiting next door right now, but they serve the veterans that need help. And let me tell you, one thing that we've learned through our Veterans Assistance Program is that veterans don't ask for help, but yet they need help. And not just the veteran themselves, but their husband or wife or associate. The family needs help, and that's what the Chamber does. We stepped in. We will make an announcement, we think, on another major project that we've done for veterans that we help coordinate. That'll be announced, we think, in November. But one of the biggest things that we've done that no one else has done that I'm aware of is, at the Afghanistan airport, the sergeant from Lawrence was killed, unfortunately, and her dream was to have a home for her family when she came back. She never made it back, unfortunately. So the Chamber, led by Mike Sullivan, our chairman, coordinated the complete gutting and rehabilitation of the home. So the family is living there in a completely brand new home at no cost to the family because of great people like you and different Chamber members who donated supplies, equipment, and labor. And that's an example. So we'd like to have you, Sean, present this to the Veterans Northeast Outreach Center. Michael can probably go get one of them to come in and we do that when you do that, if that's all right.
My pleasure.
So let me tell you about our guest speaker. And Sean has been a friend of our chamber and for a number of years now. He is a real NFL agent. He will tell you about his experience. In addition to being an NFL agent, he is also the author of several books on No Backing Down and working as an NFL stars. She's no stranger to strength. Off the field, it's his daughter who inspired him. Gianna recently achieved remission with an autoimmune disease. That's great. Congratulations. And to spread the message of the disease, goal setting, and motivation, Sean and Gianna wrote the book Football Magic. I didn't know about that's great, huh?
Yeah.
The book provides valuable lessons about perseverance and standing tall against adversity that are valuable to any next generation leader. Football Magic has endorsements from Patriots coach Bill Belichick, legendary NFL player Doug Flutie, and dozens of others. And we want to tell you that whenever we've asked Sean to speak, he's always said yes to us, and he's been tremendous. You won't give me the ring. He'll show it to you, though. You know, he needs a special, strengthening to keep that ring up. But we are going to be selling his books. And we're going to sell them, I think, for $25 a piece, Mike?
Signed, yeah.
Signed. He'll sign the books. And there's a potential. He may tell you that it could be made into a movie someday.
It will. It
will be made into a movie. And it's been endorsed by Holyfield, the former heavyweight champion of the world, Bill Belichick, and other key players. And he is a legitimate NFL agent. But let me tell you, more importantly, he's a friend to all of you. So please welcome our friend, Sean Stellato. Michael. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Obviously, it's a crazy time of year. Driving up here, I had to pull off the highway. I had one of my clients sign with the Indianapolis Colts, and I did tell their GM we're going to send him a deflated football. Just it may be a couple pictures of that. That being said, but and then after that call, I had a brief call with my brother Eric, and who my nephew plays at Clemson, and he said that he's been kind of on a roller coaster ride of the ups and downs of sport, as we know. And he said, son, at one point said, Dad, I never asked to be here. And I don't want to give a biology lesson, but when your parents decided they want to have a child, from your dad came 10 million seeds. 5 million died instantly. Then it was down to 2.5. Then it was down to 100,000, 50,000, 100. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then it was you. 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 So don't ever make the statement you never asked to be here. You fought to be here. So now that we all know we're winners in this room, I want you all to applaud yourself. So you guys decide, we all decide if you win or lose, succeed or fail. Winners imagine their dreams first. They want it with all their heart, and they expect it to come true. I believe we got 86,400 seconds in every day. And what we do with that is on us. Circumstances don't define a person, they reveal them. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey because it is unique, it is different. Yeah, I am a sports agent. I'm an ex-player. Most proud achievement I have is the dad to 4 daughters. And as we know, anyone in this room that is a parent, that is probably the toughest task we'll ever get. And it's also the biggest blessing we will achieve. And, my journey started many years back. I was a 9-year-old boy with a ball and a dream. And every day my dreams, goals started in my room. I had them listed on an index card taped to my wall. And I really feel like that really got me closer to my dreams and goals because I had them on paper. A goal without a plan is a wish. So I urge all of you, whether you're 33 or 63, put them on paper. And I think a lot of times, as we get older, we get really out of touch with the simple things in life. A butterfly flying across our face, a snowflake. And that's the beauty of having children, that nostalgic, being able to watch that movie again and again and again, and be able to write the children's book was just so therapeutic for my daughter and I. In and out of Boston Children's, she said, I said, how can we start a movement? And she came up with the idea, Daddy, let's write a children's book together. She took her passion for ballet, I took mine for football. We intertwined them, and we created, we threw them in a concoction in Football Magic and Buddy's New Beginning, Salem Witch's Tale. But reversing back to goal setting, I remember one of the players I idolized as a kid was Walter Payton. And the thing I liked about Walter Payton was his work ethic. Because a lot of us, we can't control where we're born, or some of us I call, the ovarian lottery, pardon my French, but some of us start off at third base, halfway to home. Others start in the stands or in the batter's box. And I think I often reflect on my journey, and I look back to who came before me, my ancestors, which all those photos are surrounded in my office. So when I'm having a bad day, I think back to Pasqualina and Pasquale Stellato, who took the SS Konopic 11 days with $14 in their pocket for the American dream. And I think about the struggle of being a shoemaker and coming to this country with nothing, and then I look to where I am, and I'm truly, truly blessed. So I know business, as we all know, can be extremely challenging. There's ups, there's downs, there's a lot of things we can't control. Inflation is out of control right now. But what we can control is our work ethic and our attitude, and having goals, and being honorable. And we all know about collaboration because we're all in this for a reason. I'd be a fool I stand up here by individually, but it takes a village of success, and that starts with my mom and dad, my biggest supporters. They've celebrated 62 years this past Saturday, which usually Joe can attest. I usually come to me and have lunch and listen. And my dad's my biggest critic. I love constructive criticism. I think that took that as an athlete, and I really transitioned that into sport, representing players in the National Football League. But I look back at my journey and talking about Walter Payton, and I remember as a 14-year-old listening to his interview, and he goes, "What makes you better than anyone?" And he said, "I want it more than they do 7 days a week. When I go out there on the practice field, I want it more than they do. When I go to that slope on that hill and I'm running almost up a forked roof for 80 yards, I want it more than they do. And then 65,000 people at Soldier Field, when I get to play, I want it more than they do." So that really became entrenched in my mindset, because one of the things my dad told me as a kid, he said, you're not going to be the biggest, you're not going to be the wealthiest, you're not going to be the smartest, but no one can ever outwork you. And I really attest that to my mom and dad and my late grandmother, who is one of the main characters in this story. And a fabulous woman, came to this country with very little, widowed at 57, and worked till she was 86 in Filene's, Boston. Used to walk a mile to the bus station, used to take a bus to Wonderland, train to downtown Crossing, did that 40 hours a week till she was 86 years old. She was the foundation of my faith, inspiration. I always used to put an arrow pointing towards heaven on my arm in games, and I'd look for that as a source of inspiration. And on draft day, that arrow stays on that arm. So I think it's important on the goal setting. That's something I did. That's something I think my clients magnetize to me. And I never, come across or try to tell anyone I'm the smartest one in the room. But there isn't someone that's going to outwork me. And I really make that known right out of the gate, because I tell my clients, or prospects I should say, when we sit down and I give them the game plan of how we're going to take it from execution of the standard representation agreement to getting them ready through pre-draft training, to selling and branding them for either the Senior Bowl or the East-West Shrine Game, to going out to Indianapolis and making sure, I have 70 meetings, 5 days, 25,000 steps a day. I tell them, if it comes down to me and another agent, just all you got to do is give us each a pair of boxing gloves, 3 rounds. I'll put us next to each other on a treadmill. I'll die before I lose. That's kind of the mentality. And that's the secret of my success. But with all seriousness, a little bit of my football background, because I think, a gentleman came up to me and said, why did you want to how'd you get into being a sports agent? So I played at Salem High School, and this story is about something that went on at Salem, which I'll elaborate a little bit in a few minutes. But I was able to be privy to this season. I was a quarterback. My grandmother was dying during that season, and it was a very deep connection, and it was just, there's so many parallels through that story, from personal tragedies. Our captain, his brother, suffered a bacterial meningitis, lost both his legs. He used to be wheeled to the hospital window, which abutted Bertram Field, where we played and watched the games. Our outside linebacker, mulatto kid, Phil Downs, walked in, needle in mom's arm, dead. You had all these kids holding on. So we're pretty much looking at football as an opportunity to get out of the system, not just to be a statistic. So as the team starts winning game after game, they're projected to win 1 game that season. They're undefeated, getting ready to play Swampscott, who's undefeated, major teacher strike. Now, the coach had 2 contracts, one as a teacher, one as a coach. The administration said to the coach, it said, if you coach these kids, we're going to terminate you on the spot. Now, the union came up to him and said, your job description under the collective bargaining agreement has no relevance to coaching. They looked at it as a separate contract, separate job, coach the kids. So the coach had all this tenure, So the kids here have a forfeiture of the season, break into school, steal their equipment, stash it at a local field. Now, this is the heart of the hockey lockout of 94, Major League Baseball strike of 94. So this team is getting all this attention. They get down to this practice field. Every major news channel's there, 4, 5, 7. So the kids stop practicing. Coach comes down with the assistants, arm locked. This is all film, B-rolled. And with that being said, as he's talking to the kids, local police administration come down, and the kids are crying. They think they're getting arrested for trespassing. The coaches I should say the players for breaking and entering, the coaches for trespassing, and you can see getting hit with that cease and desist. And the coach had a decision to make right there. And I think that's why I'll be always be indebted to him, because like Abraham Lincoln, like Rosa Parks, he put his heel in the dirt and said, boys, let's play ball, as he looked at a cease and desist order. So pretty much led him to the gallows. We practice, we get a police escort that Friday, we get to the stadium, but right before that, the superintendent is interviewed by John Dennis and compares the coach to Jim Jones and David Koresh for starting a football cult. Now I intertwine the parallels of the Salem witchcraft trials of 1692. They were still pushing legally for an equitable remedy and an injunction, but they could not get that because he had two different contracts. So the coaches get to the field, the high school with the team. They don't let them on the buses. They get a police escort to the game. 12,500 people there, national game of the week on Sports Channel, and the team is ready to play this team with no coaches. And right before, and the mayor shows up with bodyguards, right before the game starts, the coaches run out arm locked to coach the kids. Now there's 3 games left. I'm not going to give it. Up until that point, I was a robot, and when I say that, Doug Flutie was my boyhood idol. I handed off the ball up until that game. Well, let's just say Coach gave me the ball, and I threw 2 touchdown passes. Following week, Doug Flutie, I used to watch his highlight film before every single game from 88 to 04. 5'9" quarterback, and there's 4 seconds left in the game, and just happens to be Mike Eruzione's brother-in-law is the head coach of Winthrop. And sure enough, whoever doesn't know Mike Eruzione, gold medalist, beat the Russians final seconds. But let's just say, I don't want to give the story away, but the ball was in my hands with 4 seconds, and we had to go, I believe it was 35 yards for the season, and I'm not going to give it away. Whoever reads it, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But Angelo Pizzo, the writer of Rudy and Hoosiers, wrote the first draft of the movie script. The rewrite was written, I don't know if anyone ever saw the movie Age of Adeline with Harrison Ford and Blake Lively and Coach Carter. Salvatore Pashowitz rewrote it. It's fabulous. So that is actually with Jason Bateman's camp right now. I don't know when it will happen, but I'm telling you right now, there will be a movie. Anyone that supports it, you will. If you're extra or whatever, you'll be affiliated with it. But getting into the sports agency business, I was really blessed to play the game. I went on after that year. I played at prep school for a year. I went to the gunnery prep. I got a scholarship, and that really was one of the biggest blessings I've ever received. The owners of the New York Giants, owners of the Baltimore Ravens went there. I got a full scholarship, $37,500 for 1 year to go, and that was pretty much sink or swim. And I became a lifelong learner, and the gratitude really anointed my heart from that moving forward. From there, I had an opportunity to play Division I football and basketball at Marist College in New York, and I started 2.5 years, and it was quite a ride. And then I signed my first pro football contract to play in the Arena Football League in 2003. Played a couple years of arena ball, and I was fortunate to walk away with a couple concussions and 1 surgery. And I said, what's the closest I can get to football? Maintaining. And I saw the movie Jerry Maguire back in '96, senior year of high school. I said, what a cool line of work. So I said, you know what? I can't just say I'm going to be a sports agent. I don't even know how to sell it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to Wall Street. And I went, made 500 cold calls a day, working in a small boutique firm on South Street in Boston. And the beauty of this is, it was all international. I had to be at my desk with a phone and a lead stack at 4 a.m. every morning, 5 days a week. Woke up at 2:50, out the door at 3:15, in my seat at 4. And I did that for about 5 years, just pounding away. Got my Series 7, my 63. I learned how to sell, how to qualify. And let's just talk about the word bliss. Because let's face it, all of us, one paintbrush, one piece of canvas. What we do with that is on us. And if you're waking up every day, you're tired, you're taking a knee, you're conforming to what everyone else is doing, I mean, that's the rat race, right? So luckily, God anointed me with an amazing woman, my wife, Krista, who I can't even tell, I owe 50, anything I do, I owe so much to her. She makes me a better person, believes in my dreams. But she said to me, she's like, why are you doing this? Like, you're killing yourself, you're getting up early, you're going to bed early. She said, why don't you go hard at what you really want to do? And I said, honey, I want to play ball still. And she said, so long story, I said, you know what? All right, I'll do it. So I studied hard, got my agent certification, and I remember going to the University of Rhode Island game, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And I'm looking at players and guys that didn't really have NFL grades. I'm trying to just look at talent to say, well, you know what? Because I have a pretty good background on understanding talent, projecting value, height, weight, speed game. So I ended up taking a step back, and I said, you know what? I've got to create this differently. So I pounded away for almost 3 years. And the problem is you have a 3-year window to negotiate an NFL contract. If you don't, you lose your license. So I came very close to, I ended up picking up an offensive lineman 60 days before my license expired, and Leander Jordan signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So here I am, haven't made $1, got licensed in 2006, so still doing the agent, doing the cold calling. I think I was making $250 a week, no health insurance. So here I am, I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I hook up with a boutique firm. And I had Leander that was in training camp. They had a one player. So I said, you know what? We merged, turned that into 12 players. Problem is when you work, and there's nothing wrong with working under somebody, there's got to be reciprocation. I'm sure a lot of us have been in those situations where you're doing 90% of the work and you're getting, crumbs. And I'm like, this really isn't. So I get inducted July 27, 2013 into the Salem High School Hall of Fame. And I remember going home, and it was 400 people packed. It was just a beautiful night for my family. And I said to myself, I sat down with my wife, and she's like, what's the matter? You seem off. I said, I'm just not happy. And she's like, she thought I wanted a divorce. And I said to her, I said, honey, I am looked at, I feel like I'm a marketing rep. I'm not even a sports agent. So she said, how do you want to write the termination letter? And I said, okay. Now the problem with this was Kyle Arrington just signed a 4-year, $16 million contract. I technically was going to be in breach and have to forfeit a very big commission check. So I was at a crossroads. Do I go deeper into the trenches with this firm, or do I look for full autonomy and say I'm going to be my own guy? So I had a pet boxer named Sly, and I had an unproven long snapper who literally never played it down in the NFL. He just signed a futures contract for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I looked at my wife, and she said, let's put the house up for sale. Let's do it. So we put the house up on the sale. I moved into a 1-bedroom apartment with 3 children, my wife, and said, let's do it. So I remember talking to the agent that I pretty much was leaving. He blatantly said, speakerphone, you'll never make it in the industry. And by the way, that long snapper, he'll never play it down in the NFL. So I have been told my whole athletic career that I'm too small. And I'm going to get inducted. And I say this I walk in humility in my 4th Hall of Fame in November, which I'm going to disclose, something I'm extremely proud of. So I said, okay, the boulder on the shoulder got a little bit bigger. So it's one thing to take a step off the ledge and, really, wow, you got to reinvent yourself. And another to actually employ certainty at a moment like that when you got 4 mouths to feed and a lot to lose. And I remember walking into that room when I was still doing the stock business and looking at my kids' faces and just saying how innocent they were. And I knew right then and there there's no way I could fail. I thought about my ancestors, what they went through as peasant farmers and as shoe manufacturers. I said, there's no way. I have all the resources. And I got drive. I got grit. I got, So I battled away. And then, sure enough, I signed my first draft pick, 5th round kid, Ty Smith out of Townsend to the Seattle Seahawks. And then I started signing Patriot players. You know, I had one Gary Guyton, then it turned into 2, then 4. And I've really built this thing up organically. And one of the beauties was at 2018, that long snapper that would never play a game signed the highest paid guarantee for a long snapper in the history of the NFL when we signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. So I look at it like this: when anybody tells you guys about business, if you're going to do something crazy, obviously look at this. You got to calculate risk, but you got to sometimes grab grab the bull by the horn and say, you know what, I'm living one life. This is it. And sometimes you got to, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, sometimes you got to take that risk. And, it's an exciting time right now. Andrew, we redid it again last year. We made him the highest paid long snapper with the Buccaneers. But Andrew, right after, I think in terms of resiliency, which sport teaches us, Andrew, the first series into his season in 2018 with the Las Vegas Raiders, tears his ACL. Done. Rehabs, that following September, he gets cut. And he's out of football for 15 months. And he has a couple kids. He thinks COVID comes. And I end up getting him a tryout with the Minnesota Vikings. Problem was he had to be at the airport in 40 minutes. And he got to the airport and missed it. Only way out, he had to drive from Maryland up to New York. I'm getting a brain freeze on JFK. And gets out there, and he brought one bag. He said, Sean, he goes, I'm only bringing one bag, but I'm not coming back. He ended up signing. Andrew, last year, played in his first Pro Bowl games and signed the highest guarantee in the history of the NFL for a long snapper. So, which has been, cool. I think another significance to my journey is, COVID came. And I remember the Patriots win Super Bowl 53, and I'm standing there and confetti's falling on my head. I had 5 New England Patriot players. And I did tremendous amount with the team due diligence for a cornerback who I don't even want to give him the praise because he doesn't deserve it, but he's all part of my motivation. So he was getting ready for a very lucrative deal. 48-page presentation. All the comps were done. And he terminated me 10 days before signing a $25 million deal. And then another player, punter, terminates after I just did a deal 3 years that made him $8 million. He's like, Sean, I want to be my own boss. I want to negotiate. I want to look Bill Belichick in the eyes and Nick Caserio. I want to put it on them. Well, you know the story of the punter. 45 days later, they drafted Jake Bailey, and then, unfortunately, my guy got cut. But that being said, then I was battling COVID. And I looked at it. It was a dark moment in my life. I was living in the basement, and I was looking for direction. I was looking for something to break, but I turned to my faith, and luckily I communicated, and I fought back, and and a year later I signed a 3rd-round draft pick, and my tight end became the highest blocking tight end in NFL history, Chris Manhertz. So I know there's going to be speed bumps along the way for all you guys as business owners. But just know, we got one life. A lot of times everybody wastes energy on things you can't control. And let's face it, it's an exciting time. It's a challenging time. I think it's important, for me, any success I've had or we've had as a team, I think it's important to give back. And that's why through the literacy programs and being able to write is very therapeutic. No backing down, went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame's library last year, which is kind of cool. I remember the mayor, when I interviewed him for this book, he was pro coach in our team, and he said, you know what, the story's just not that interesting. That's what he told me when I was writing the book. And 25,000 copies later, I think we're doing okay. Still got a lot of mountain to climb, but I love the fact is it's diverse. We live in a great world that, doesn't matter our skin color or where we're from. If you work hard, if you be a good person, you can live the American dream. And I think that's important for everybody it's not where we're at. And, write goals, believe in them, embrace them, be a good person, and I think, I'm excited to continue to push this. And my kids are my legacy. And I'm just blessed to be in the position. But I wanted to leave you guys because obviously I know I want to be respectful of everyone's time. one of the mantras is, if you follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while. Waiting for you in the life you ought to be living is the one you are living. Wherever you are, if you are following your bliss, you are enjoying that refreshment, that life within you all the time. And no, life is about perception. And I'll end it on this story. My grandmother was a proud Italian woman, and she used to tell me a story about 1944. She grew up in a small village, Sembiaz, and Catanzaro, Calabria, Italy. And when the Germans left town in 1944, they shadowed the statue of Christ. And everyone was kind of in despair, and the priest advised the women and children to put all the pieces together as the men prepared for battle. And at dawn, the children came to the priest in despair. There's no hands for Jesus. And the priest says, you are his hands. May God bless you. May you all continue to evolve and just continue to, be good people and enjoy this beautiful gift of life. I look forward to interacting, sticking around after if anybody's interested.
Tell us about the rings.
Oh, yeah. So, the rings are important. Yeah, it's funny. My buddy in high school used to play me a song with George Michael and Aretha Franklin, I Knew You Were Waiting. And he used to always inspire me to win a state championship and get that high school ring. And we went 25-0 my junior in high school basketball and got rings, and I had close calls in college. We just missed winning the conference. We lost to Iona and Siena right before St. Peter's, right before the conference championship. And then Arena Ball came, and I was part of a program. We went to the Arena Cup. And then the Patriots come along, and, growing up in Salem and I've represented 19 Super Bowl champions, 14 with the New England Patriots. I built my company, I don't want to say, strictly off the Patriot model, but I learned so much from Coach Belichick, and I cherish the relationship I have with him. And Nick Caserio and Floyd Reese, the late Floyd Reese, and it's been a blessing. But when they won 49 and 51, I do a little bit extra, and I think there's a great book called The Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill. Do more than what you pay to do, and that book is part of my mantra. And I think I do a little bit more than I'm paid to do for a lot of my guys. And a couple of my clients gifted me a Super Bowl 49 and 51 ring, which has been pretty special. I do have a nickel allergy. They're the only yellow gold from Jostens that they made, so which is kind of cool. But yeah, I don't wear them often, but occasionally when I'm having an off day, I might put them on and say, hey, you know what? It ain't too bad. You made football a career. I started playing football at, I'm 45. I made football a career since I was, for the last 39 years. So it's been pretty cool. At times, I still feel like I'm 25. If you guys can remember the date, I get to rewind the clock back once a year. I play in a celebrity charity flag football game with Doug Flutie, RG3, Tracy McGrady, and it's all for Wounded Warriors, Mission 22. So it's great. I do go hard, though, I'm not going to lie. So it's fun. I got to kind of tell myself maybe slow it a little bit, but I was saying to myself, as long as Tom Brady's balling, I'm going to try to ball out too. But yeah, I look forward to networking afterwards with you guys, talking. If you're interested, books, I'd love to sign them and talk.
And on behalf of the Merrimack Valley Chamber, Sean's a great friend of the Chamber. I just want to present him with this plaque and just say congratulations on all your success. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank you so much. Gotta get one of these, Joe, because I carry them wherever I go. But that being said, and I want to thank Joe and Michael. They've been great. I know my schedules are crazy, but this is gratifying.
Hey, Mary Beth.
Yeah, Mary Beth, I'm sorry. I go you 10 push-ups. But with all seriousness, it's been a fun ride, but I would be wasting away if I didn't have an opportunity to share some stories and interact. Hopefully I entertain some of you and you learn a couple things about me, and I wish you guys an abundance of success and blessings, and hopefully I do have a draft party every year, so any golfers, it's the fourth Thursday, first day of the draft, so make sure if you got cards, I'd love to give you guys information as we get into the new year, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of networking.
So first of all, let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
We've had Sean speak at 3 or 4 events, and let me tell you, the message is always the same. It's work hard and do the best you can, and you'll succeed. And one of the things that Sean has always done for Michael and I is whenever we've asked him, and Mary Beth, whenever we've asked him to come up to the chamber, he always says, yes, just let me check, let me know the date, and we'll be there. And I want to commend him because of the fact that he is not only an NFL agent, and I kid him about the rings, but the fact is he's a motivational speaker that tells us that anybody can make it if we work hard, and he cares about everyone. And he's giving you the quick version because he's on the way to another meeting. But we are fortunate that he brought some books. If you'd like an autographed book, I think it's only
$25.
$25. We're not making any money on the books. We're going to sell them for a cost. And you can just, Mary Beth can take it by credit card. He'll sign it for you, take a picture with you, whatever you want. But we want to say thank you, Sean. And he can't make an announcement yet, but there's a big announcement coming for Sean Stellato. Once he tells us it's official, we can announce it. We'll let you know about it, but you'll be very, very proud of him. And knowing that you were this close to an NFL, a real NFL agent that has made a difference in the lives of a lot of people. And never fails to talk about his family, which I think is really exciting.
Thank you. I really appreciate those words. I do.
Absolutely. So thank you all.
And the books are available now.
The books are over here. If you want to see over here.